Welcome to Tracing Your Family Roots. My name is Arlene Sachs, and my co-host today is Andrew Hochreiter, and he's a professional genealogist. And we'd like to welcome Daniel Horowitz. He's our special guest today. He's a genealogy expert with MyHeritage, and he's been involved with genealogy for many, many years. Welcome, Daniel. I'm so glad you could come all the way from Israel to be on the show.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine, as always. I love to be here with everybody and just teach about genealogy.
Today we're going to start talking about DNA because there's a lot of new stuff. So I will let Andrew, who's the expert, go ahead at this point.
It's such a pleasure to have you here today. MyHeritage has been known in the past for its family trees and the digitized records that you can have access to. But you recently got involved with DNA and providing analysis of DNA results and that. And I know that your DNA database is growing rapidly.
That's right. We started in 2016 selling our own DNA kits. We also allow people to upload their results from the other companies so they can take advantage of the matches and the MyHeritage tools. And we're growing not only very rapidly, but also spreading it around the world. We have a lot of sales in Europe. We have a lot of people testing in South America. So right now we are probably the widest company doing DNA tests and supporting 42 languages, which is also an advantage as everybody can do their genealogy and see the results in their own language.
Those are some fantastic tools. How do you link together the DNA with your records and with your family trees?
Well, we have a special tool that we released very recently called the Theory of Family Relativity. And first of all, let me request from everybody out there to please put a family tree together with their DNA, because most of people are just testing the DNA and are putting the results up in a website. But whenever you have that combined to a family tree, whenever we can see also the names, the dates, and the places that you have in your family, yes, that is when the tools really work for you. In the case of the Theory of Family Relativity, we can go up a few generations and we can see your ancestors. And then we try to find those ancestors both in other people's family tree or in the records. And we have found a lot of connections for people and multiple collections for those individuals that have tested. And the idea is to bring you those connections for you to review. After all, remember, is a theory. That's why we call it a Theory of Family Relativity. So we will show people how they connect to each other. And in some cases, you will have a match with a fourth or a fifth cousin, and the connection is really not apparent there. So together with the records and the family trees, that will help you trace your roots and see how you're both related. What we're seeing now in the screen is an example that somebody had a family tree, so we went up a couple of generations. We moved to a census record and then to another family tree and a birth or a marriage record, and that makes us the connection to the other person.
So you have multiple ways of looking at a match and giving hints to the person whose DNA is being tested.
That's the idea, to try to take advantage of the huge database. We have 9.9 billion historical records. We have 3.4 billion profiles in family trees. So all these are knots that are connected one with the other. And although not a lot of people are getting theories, and I do know that some of users are a little bit mad. Let me tell you myself, I still don't have a theory for my DNA matches, so don't get mad if you don't have theories yet. But as much as we provide with the records and you provide with the family trees, the chances are that we are going to come very soon with a theory for you.
Well, that's wonderful. And I know that MyHeritage has been very proactive in developing new tools to use for analysis of DNA results. Can you tell me about some of the new tools?
Definitely. Because each one has his own case and not all the tools work for everybody. We try to have enough tools in the box for people to understand. Like, besides the theories, we also have smart matches, and we also have the triangulation or the common matches. And this, for example, has been very useful to me when I have a match with somebody and I don't know exactly how he or she is connected to me. But if I have tested my mother or a cousin from my grandmother's side, and the triangulation shows that we are all connected to each other, that will at least lead me that this is a match coming from that side. We also have a chromosome browser, and we have two versions of the chromosome browser actually. We have one-to-one, so if you and I match, the chromosome browser will show the different pieces where we match. But we went the extra mile over there, and we allow you to select up to 7 individuals. So if you are suspecting that there is a group of people that are connected to each other, all what you need to do is go to the one-to-many chromosome browser, select the individuals that you want to test, and we will show you right there in a graphic way with a lot of colors and very beautiful, the pieces, the snippets that you are matching. And more than that, if we found that there is a common snippet or a common piece of DNA big enough to be significant, we will point it out, and you will be able to trace then all the people that match that segment, and it will mean that you are all related through that side. The latest tool also that we have released together with the theory is the chromosome browser. And this is a beautiful animation. It has a lot of colors, but not everybody really understands how to use it. And the idea of the autocluster is to put together those people that have common matches, that have the common ancestor that inherited their DNA to. So if you recognize a few of the names in a particular cluster and the other ones are still a mystery to you, at least you will be pointed to that branch of the family because they will all be coming from the same side. So yes, what we're looking now on the screen is exactly that animation with beautiful colors, and you will have listed most of your matches over there. So you only need to identify those that you know in order to know that the rest of the one in the cluster are the ones that are related also to you from that branch.
Now, didn't you say something that on that last one, that red part for Jews, or any endogenous group, it wasn't all that helpful for that?
Yes, it's famous, the Ashkenazi group, to be endogamist. For those new to the term, this is just saying that the family intermarriage a lot. But I have to tell you, I have seen autoclusters of Hawaiian people, and it's just a big red square. Like they didn't have a lot of people where to choose. So yeah, that's why it's always recommended to go not only to the first one, but to the second, the third, the fourth. Maybe down in a smaller cluster, you will find 2 or 3 people that you know who they are, and another who you don't know. That is the advantage of the autocluster there.
I know that with autoclusters that they present a very pretty picture of the matches and that. But what I have found helpful with MyHeritage is their explanations on how to use these tools. In your help menu, you have some great instructions on how to use these tools.
Yeah. Well, I personally was a teacher for genealogy many, many moons ago. And MyHeritage also understands the importance of bringing genealogy to the masses. Not everybody can be an expert genealogist. Not everybody needs to know how to work. So on the features itself, you will have some hints and some leads on how to use them. But I'm going to give you a scoop because we're very soon about to release a complete new area for education. The idea is to make people better genealogists, to improve the work that people are doing, and to let them understand like how they can use all those tools.
Do you find that a lot of people just take that test, a DNA test, to look at their ethnicity?
Yes, definitely. And if you Google it, we can find in YouTube all these people screaming like crazy because they're 1% Nigerian. Let's concentrate on the 80%, not on the 1%. And yes, it is fun. It is interesting to see what traces our DNA has. But that's definitely not the reason to do a DNA test for genealogy. What most of people in the genealogy world are looking for are for the matches, are to connect with other people, are trying to get back on their family trees many generations and discover the real origins that they may have. And MyHeritage is trying to play its part. We also have a lot of projects, for example, trying to help adoptees or people that don't know their biological family. A lot of people are discovering now secrets in their families. Suddenly, they are not who they think they were. So the DNA is revealing that part.
Yes.
And MyHeritage has, and we were talking about the pro bono projects with adoptees. We are giving away DNA kits, and we're putting a line of experts to help those. And we have had a few success cases that you can just see it on the media and the news. And it's very comforting for us. This is really giving us a boost of energy every time and see this is working. Let's keep and improve what we have.
Well, it certainly is there is a social role there for genetic testing, and I'm well aware of your pro bono projects and all the kits that you give away. But you know, that's much appreciated, I'm sure, by the community of adoptees out there.
So we heard.
Yes. Well, talking about ethnicities, you have an ethnicity map also. Can you tell the audience about that?
Sure. What we have done is we have handpicked users that have a family tree that have been proven that they belong to a certain area. And then we compare your DNA to their DNA, and that is what gives us the ethnicity. So once we know which ethnicities are in your DNA, we present it in a map. We also have an animation video with sounds and very nice to see. What I always tell people is that you can always also print it and send it to your cousins and demonstrate what the theories you had until today. But again, it's not the main goal of the DNA. And people will get the ethnicities, people will get the matches, both with the MyHeritage DNA kit or if they upload any test from another company, because MyHeritage is not the only company out there testing for DNA. Today, and I think that it's good that we have more companies out there, that we have a very good competition in order to make interesting and to make also challenging for us to improve and to do better tools. So if you already have tested with another company, you can very easily upload your results to MyHeritage and enjoy, again, all the tools.
Don't the different companies test different areas, though, or doesn't that matter in the long run?
Well, you're right. And first of all, we haven't mentioned that this type of test is what it's called an autosomal DNA test. And there are a few different types of tests, but most companies are testing autosomal. And yes, not all the companies are testing the same areas, but from 100% of the DNA, let's say 95% is the same area. So those little gaps that each company tests or not, the technology knows how to fill the blank and work without those little pieces. That is also the explanation why you may have a different ethnicity in different companies. But again, the matching part is almost perfect, no matter how many snippets or how many parts you have tested for them.
And you also you mentioned about the differences between individuals. So it's important to not just test yourself, but if you have siblings or relatives to test.
Yeah, definitely, because again, back if you test yourself, and I will not advise necessarily to test yourself. My advice is always to test the oldest person in the family, because DNA passes from generation to generation in a 50% ratio. So when you test an older person, you have a better sample of the DNA, but you need to test multiple people. Like the example I was saying before, if I would test myself and I have matches, I will not know if those matches are coming from my father's side or my mother's side, because the autosomal DNA takes in account both sides or all the ancestors that you have. So by testing other people, other cousins, and the triangulation tool, you will be able to find out exactly where you're coming from, where those matches are coming from, and how you are related to other people. And we're also expecting the technology to be improved, and the advantage is that you will not need to retest again, because your DNA is going to be always your DNA, except in very few cases of bone marrow transplant and things that will change actually your DNA composition. So once we have that test in-house in the lab and the technology improves, you will automatically get all the updates from that technology. So that's what I envision to happen.
That's certainly
very
important if you have a older relative who passes away and that the DNA still is available for any upgrades or changes that may come along.
There is also a lot of people out there that have in the fridge like hair or blood samples. I have heard everything, tooth. It's important also to point out this type of test is not that one. It's not what you see in CSI and in the TV. This is just a cheek swab. So there's no blood involved. People just need to swab their inner cheek for 30 seconds, and then they have this little vials included in the box, and it's painless and effortless. It's very easy to take. And not everybody can do other type of tests. Like there's one that you need to fill like a little container with saliva, and not everybody can generate that that quantity. So this is a very good test, especially for older people. It's very inexpensive as well, so you can test multiple people in your family, and that will give you better trace of your ancestors.
Now I see a new feature that MyHeritage is offering is health reports. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, definitely I can try. I'm not an expert in that area, but that was the natural next step. And there is already one company doing health report for many, many years, but MyHeritage as part of the DNA had to include it as well. Right now, we are starting with two types of reports. One is your genetic risk report, meaning conditions that you may suffer. And it's important for people to understand that the fact that you have a risk, it doesn't mean you're going to suffer from that. Depending if you have a higher risk or a lower risk, and depending on the condition, there are some things that you need to do in order to improve that. And there is things that you want to do. You want to consult with a physician, with a doctor whenever you have your results. And right now we're offering 14 of those reports. I know it's not a big number, but we're just starting. It was promised to me that by the end of the year we'll be hitting the 3 digits report. The other type of report is the carrier condition, meaning things that you will not have, you will not suffer them, but you will pass them to your descendants. So it's good to know what you may be passing, because if both parents have that condition, there are more chances for the kids to suffer from that specific illness.
Now, if you already have the DNA of somebody, let's say you had mine, would you then add the check for that and let me know what you found?
If you have tested with MyHeritage, yes, you can upgrade or pay a little bit more to get the health result. It's not that easy anyhow. You need to answer a questionnaire of about 16 questions. We want to know a little bit more about your backgrounds, and that will allow us to also alert you and put you in contact with the doctor that will help you understand more your health results. And this is where the future is going, where MyHeritage is giving you the past, the present, and the future with all the tools, with all the power for you to take decisions and to be able to take your destiny in your own hands.
Well, I'd like to cycle back to some of the tools, and you keep adding with the health reports and the new analysis tools and that, but you kind of emphasized that the matches and the shared matches are the most important part of the reports that you get.
Yeah, definitely, because again, what we genealogists are always looking for is for people in the past and the connections. I may not know all my ancestors, but if I find somebody that matches me in the DNA, it means that we had a common ancestor. And whenever I contact the person and we exchange information, I will be able to learn more about my past, about our past, and prepare for a better future. So yeah, that is the main goal, I think, as a genealogist, and the reason to do a DNA test. And I do know that there is a lot of people hesitating out there because, you know, DNA, it's used for multiple things, law enforcement and things like that. But MyHeritage has a pledge not to share this information with security companies, insurance companies, or any other law enforcement agent without your specific consent. And right now we have all that information very secure in our servers. Not even the employees of the company can see your health results, for example. So we are really thinking on the users and the people that trust us with their information.
That's good to know, because I know privacy is a very big concern for a lot of people that may prevent them from testing with the DNA. But with all the advancements that has come down, and the fact that you're taking advantage and offering this matrix that brings records into it, health reports, family history, photographs, there's so many other features to MyHeritage. It's a great way to explore your family history.
The most important thing, I think, is that people need to understand DNA, it's not a magic wand. It will not give them all the results that they're expecting just because they took the test. They need to put a family tree together. They need to go and do the research. They need to put the names, they need to put the dates and the places, whatever information they know. And I know that there are people out there saying, well, but I don't know that much. It doesn't matter. Put together whatever you know. Try to find records of your own, in your own family, family pictures, as you said. All those are clues to start building their family trees. You can start testing MyHeritage. You can start that for free and see if you like it, and see if MyHeritage has what you're looking for. And then results will come. All the tools, all the technology is going to come together, and it's going to lead you to the next steps, and we're going to help you finding your relatives.
Do you think in the future you'll be able to transfer like the data, pictures and stuff that I have in mind? Right now we only transfer the GEDCOM when we do something. And I think that that's really very, very limited. But if I have the proof and I have my pictures in there, which I do now, do you think they'll be doing something like that in the future?
Technology is improving. Like a GEDCOM, it's a way to move a family tree. But now, if you have the GEDCOM with the images could go up in the website. Or if you are moving from one website to the other or from a software to the other, it's possible. But yes, the imaging technology is also advancing. The internet is helping a lot. So yes, hopefully the technology will improve and we will be able to help you more in that sense.
Because I hate to lose everything that I have. Right now I still have it all on my computer or and stored, but it's not.
Yeah, you should upload to the internet. You should have it in multiple devices, in external hard drive. Backups are never enough.
Yeah, well, I have my backups and all of that, but I haven't put it up in the cloud. We've just got less than a minute left. Is there something else you would like to add that no,
just thank you for the invitation and the possibility of being here, and for all the people at home, just give it a try. Start your family tree, start putting the names, the places, take the jump to the pool, do a DNA test, and start discovering your family.
It's really easy to do that test. People, and as you said, I really like the idea that you have the security. Because I know a lot of people are worried about that getting out.
Yes.
Although I've seen, they did catch a criminal that way when some family had been tested, and that's sort of, that's a good thing that they caught him, but that invades your privacy too. So that's a question on both sides.
That's a totally different subject. Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.